Roots. Thousands of years ago, the islands we now call Japan were not yet separated from the Asian mainland.
As the Ice Age ended, water levels rose, and these land bridges vanished, forming the four main islands.
Volcanoes sculpted towering mountains, rivers carved the valleys, and fertile forests began to appear across the islands.
Nature ruled these lands. Animals thrived in vast forests, while humans had yet to arrive.
Around 14,000 years ago, the first humans arrived. These were the Jomon people, hunter-gatherers living along the coasts and rivers. They fished the abundant rivers, hunted animals, and collected wild plants for survival. The Jomon are famous for creating some of the world's earliest pottery, intricately decorated with cord mark patterns. They built pit houses, simple shelters dug into the earth, and learned to live in harmony with nature. For thousands of years, they thrived as small, close-knit communities, guided by respect for the land and its spirits.
Around 300 BCE, a new culture arrived from the Korean peninsula Harsh, the Yayoi people, bringing farming and metal tools.
They introduced rice cultivation, transforming Japan from a hunter-gatherer society to a farming civilization. With bronze and iron tools, they could build stronger homes, weapons, and farming implements. Some families became warriors, guarding villages and expanding territories, laying foundations for early governance. Over centuries, the Jomon and Yayoi cultures merged, blending traditions, skills, and beliefs. By the 3rd century CE, powerful clans began to dominate regions, uniting smaller tribes under single leadership. One clan, the Yamato, rose to prominence in central Honshu, claiming authority over much of Japan. The Yamato rulers claimed descent from the sun goddess Amaterasu, giving divine legitimacy to their rule. They established the first political systems, setting the stage for Japan's imperial governance.
Spiritual and cultural practices flourished alongside governance, blending nature worship with emerging Buddhism.
Trade routes developed between regions, spreading technology, ideas, and religious practices across the islands.
The Yamato consolidated control, protecting villages from rivals and establishing order throughout their territories.
Art, craftsmanship, and ceremonial tools became symbols of power and culture within the growing state.
Japan began engaging with neighboring regions, exchanging goods, knowledge, and technologies with Korea and China.
The introduction of iron tools allowed farmers to clear forests faster and irrigate rice fields more efficiently. Rice cultivation became central to society, providing food security and fostering population growth across the islands. Communities taught their children pottery, weaving, and ritual practices, ensuring knowledge passed from one generation to the next.
Villages thrived near rivers and the sea, using fishing, trade, and agriculture to sustain their growing populations.
By the 3rd century CE, regional leaders consolidated power, forming alliances and establishing early political control. Fortified settlements protected communities from rival clans and strengthened the Yamato's influence across Honshu.
Ceremonial artifacts, such as mirrors and jewelry, symbolized authority, culture, and spiritual beliefs. Social structures became more organized, dividing roles between farmers, artisans, and warriors.
Trade routes expanded, connecting Japan to Korea and China, introducing new technologies and ideas.
Villages grew in size, with permanent dwellings replacing temporary shelters, reflecting a stable society.
Spirituality flourished. Early Shinto practices merged with Buddhism, introduced from the Asian mainland.
The Yamato clan expanded its territory, establishing the foundations of Japan's imperial system.
Metalwork advanced rapidly, producing tools and weapons that reinforced both farming and defense.
Craftsmanship and ritual objects became central to cultural identity and authority.
Ceremonial festivals strengthened community bonds and honored nature's cycles.
The growing Yamato state improved infrastructure, enabling communication, trade, and centralized administration.
A warrior class emerged to defend territories and maintain order, paving the way for future samurai traditions. Agricultural advancements ensured a steady food supply, supporting population growth and social complexity.
Communities spread across fertile plains, establishing regional centers of power.
Religion and governance intertwined, with rituals legitimizing the ruler's divine authority.
Japan's natural landscapes, Ulif Mountains, rivers, and seas for culture, shaped culture, defense, and agriculture.
Trade between regions encouraged economic growth and cultural exchange. Fishing supplemented agriculture, providing protein and supporting growing populations.
Centralized leadership strengthened the Yamato's hold over the islands, uniting diverse tribes.
Strategic fortifications protected villages from rivals and natural threats. Art and symbolism reflected spiritual beliefs, status, and the emerging culture of Japan.
Buddhism spread from the continent, influencing architecture, rituals, and education.
Written language allowed record-keeping, governance, and the preservation of knowledge.
The warrior class ensured protection, order, and loyalty within the growing state.
The emperor's authority became symbolic and spiritual, consolidating loyalty across regions. Geography continued to shape culture, transport, and defense strategies across Japan.
Permanent settlements reflected stability and growing social organization. Agriculture remained the backbone of society, fueling growth and stability.
The Yamato clan strategically expanded, uniting distant regions under centralized rule.
Military organization safeguarded villages and upheld the authority of regional leaders.
Symbols reinforced cultural identity, power, and social hierarchy.
Religious integration blended Shinto and Buddhism, shaping Japan's spiritual identity.
International trade introduced new technologies, crops, and cultural influences.
Diplomatic relations strengthened political legitimacy and regional stability.
Community festivals nurtured shared identity and spiritual devotion.
Cooperation between classes built prosperity and cultural sophistication.
Defense infrastructure protected communities from external threats and rival clans.
Record-keeping allowed governance, education, and preservation of historical knowledge.
Daily life balanced survival, culture, and spiritual practices across the islands.
The emperor's authority unified the islands, combining political, spiritual, and social power. Japan's geography continued to influence settlement patterns, culture, and defense strategies.
Education preserved knowledge, culture, and religious practices across generations. Security ensured that communities could thrive, enabling economic and cultural development.
Agriculture continued to sustain the population and anchor social stability.
Trade with Korea and China continued to influence Japan, introducing innovations and ideas.
The mountainous eruptions carved valleys, rivers, and fertile plains, laying the foundation for the island's ecosystems. Shared rituals and festivals strengthened cultural unity and devotion to the emperor.
From ancient hunters to the rise of the Yamato Empire, Japan's story is one of survival. Even in silence, Mount Fuji shaped life around it, a timeless force, enduring through ice, storms, and millennia.
Thanks for watching. For more video like this, please do subscribe.